Hi, welcome to another video in our series on how to use the Woven Admin Console. In this video, we will cover the basics of adding users to your new Woven organization. Remember that with Woven, users use their own identity, and a single user can be a member of any number of different organizations. Now, I'm already logged into the Woven Admin Console, and you can see that I'm an administrator of the Hagen's organization here in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And you can also see that I'm currently the only user in the organization. That's the normal state of a brand new organization, since you must already have a Woven user identity to create an organization. And once you do, that user becomes the initial administrator for the new org. So let's look at how we go about adding a user to our new organization. First, I'm going to click on the blue menu icon in the upper right corner of the screen. And you'll see that I have two options, Add User and Add Multiple Users. In this video, we're going to focus only on the Add User process to add a single new user to your Woven organization. So I'm going to select Add User. And you'll see that the Add User pop-up has appeared, and it offers me two options for how to add a new user. The first is to invite a new user to Woven. The new user flow is used to invite someone who isn't already a Woven user, or to invite someone when you don't know whether they have a Woven identity or not. The new user flow will work in either of those two situations. The second option is to invite an existing Woven user. But for now, we're going to focus on the new to Woven use case. In order to invite a new user to your Woven organization, we simply need to provide their email and the user's name. So I'll enter the required information. And in this case, we're using a dummy email address and or a real email address, but for training purposes. Training user1 at hagens.us, that's my domain name, and we'll say that their name is training user. And all I have to do now is click Send Invite. And when I close the pop-up, you'll see that the new user's record now appears in the Woven Admin Console with a status of invited. The user is going to receive an email invitation that tells them to first download and install the Woven application from either the iOS or Google Play Store, create a Woven account, which includes identity verification, and finally, to click the Join button in the invitation email in order to complete the process and join the new Woven organization. If we go to our Gmail client over here, you can see the Woven invitation that I talk about, right? And you can see the links to download the apps from the iOS App Store, the Google Play Store, and then finally the Join Now button that the user would click when they're finished setting up their Woven identity. If for any reason the user didn't receive the invitation, you can resend it at any time by clicking on the User menu button on the right side and selecting Resend Invite. Once the user completes the onboarding process, the status of the user in the admin console will change from invited to active. To see and understand the end user experience for onboarding, please see our video on the Woven new user onboarding experience. Now let's go back and explore the other option for adding a new user, which is to add an existing Woven user. This is the option you should use when you know that the user already has a Woven account and you know what that Woven username is. Once again, I'm going to click on the blue menu icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and select Add User. Note that this time I'm being prompted for the user's Woven ID or username along with the email address. In this case, however, the email address that I'm entering isn't used to send an invitation. Rather, this is the email address that I'm actually assigning to the user as an employee. This email address is going to be used later when I provision new services like Office 365 or Google G Suite. The importance of that will become crystal clear later when we learn more about adding services for a user. For now, however, I'll just enter an existing Woven username and the email address that I want the employee to have. In this case, the email address of an existing, or the username of an existing Woven user is traininguser1a, and we'll say that it's traininguser1a at mycompany.com, and I'll click on Add User. At this point, a consent request is sent to the user identified by traininguser1a, that Woven username, and that user is going to be given the choice of adding themselves, accepting the invitation and being added to this new organization, or they could reject it. Okay, and you can see that in the status of the user that this new user shows as pending. So a different status. Invited was for the user who was invited to join. Pending is for the user who, where rather we're waiting on them to accept the consent request and be added to the organization. And that's actually what I'm going to do right now is in the Woven app on my phone, I'm going to accept the consent request, and then I'm going to refresh the browser, and you'll see that this status has changed from pending to now active. So the user has been successfully added to my new organization. And that's it. That's the process for adding individual users to your Woven organization. Both scenarios, both a new Woven user as well as an existing Woven user. Thanks for watching. I hope it was useful. We'll see you next time.